Motorola, for example, is now on its 3rd generation foldable, and you know what? It could be its best one yet. Hey guys, it's John V here with Tom's Guide, and this is our review of the Motorola Razr Plus. Okay, so the design of the Razr Plus, I like it. It's thin, lightweight, holds in the hand very nicely, rounded edges. You get this combination of this polished metal finish with the vegan leather back, so it looks really good. And you gotta hand it to Motorola's engineers. They really did a great job as far as designing the phone, because now there's no gap when you fold the phone into one. So that's good. But I know some people were complaining about it in other phones. To me, it's not a big deal, but Motorola solved it here. I want to also tell you that this phone is IP52, so while it does withstand some splashes, you really can't submerge it, so that's one thing to know. Besides that, you know, it's compact, really lightweight. I love the design, looks good. I'm just kind of questioning about the vegan leather, how that's going to hold up over time. While it looks good now, who knows what's going to be like in a couple years. So the standout, of course, is the foldable display. Here you have a 6.9-inch Full HD OLED display. It looks good. The aspect ratio is a lot wider, so it might look weird watching videos, but it's great otherwise. Detailed, bright, so using it outdoors is not a problem. You do kind of see the crease here in the middle of the phone where it folds in half. You see it only when the phone's off. To me, it's not a big deal, especially when it's on and you're watching a video, because you don't even notice it at that point. But the other thing I want to take note of is the display on the outside of the phone. This is what makes the Razr really special. There's a 3.6-inch plastic OLED display. It's super sharp and quite usable because you could actually do some of the stuff with the external display as you would with the internal display. So you could run apps, and I find this level of utility is great when you just want to use the phone without having to actually open it up. All right, so let me talk about the camera here with the Razr Plus. There's a 12 megapixel main camera, and that's paired with the 13 megapixel ultra-wide camera. The ultra-wide camera also doubles as a macro. I want to point out though, there is no telephoto, which I guess you kind of expect with most of today's high-end phones, especially at this price range. But to be fair, the Flip 4 also didn't have one. As far as the image quality, I say it's usable. It's good for outdoor shots when there's a lot of light, you get some good details. Colors though, they seem to skew a little bit on the greenish side, so that's something you want to take note of. Unfortunately though, when it comes to low light photography, it's pretty much more or less the same as the last two Razrs. It doesn't get the job done because it just looks muddy, there's a lot of noise in the shots, and when I compared its night vision mode versus the low lighting mode in the Flip 4, the Flip 4 just beat it. It was bright, it was better exposed, and just looked better overall. Now I gotta say though, if you're into vlogging, if you're into YouTube videos, TikTok videos, the Razr Plus is the phone for you, just because you're gonna get that handy external display. You'll be able to see yourself in the frame, know what you look like before you shoot the video, and it's just great for that. The stabilization is also wonderful. If you're doing a live vlogging, it keeps it steady for the most part, and you could switch between the main camera and also the ultra wide, so you get more of yourself in that frame. So in that regard, while yes, it doesn't do well in the low light performance, it's still a usable camera, and especially given the utility of the way it folds like this, you could handheld using the front or rear cameras. It just adds more to the experience that you're not going to get on other phones. So the Razr Plus is running Android 13 right now, and I think it's a pretty useful experience because it has the minimalist UI, you have some elements there for productivity, but most of all, I want to say that I love the gestures that Motorola continues to have in its phones because I find it very useful. For example, you do the flip gesture to actually launch the camera, you do the chop gesture to launch the light. So these are all handy features that I still enjoy having, and it's nice that Motorola has kept them here. Besides that, like I said, it's running Android 13, it's responsive for the most part, it's powered by Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip. So pair that with the 144Hz refresh rate display, everything looks buttery smooth, whether you're scrolling through the interface or playing game. I didn't find too many instances of it slowing down. Overall, the experience is what you expect from Motorola. It's really thin, right? So Motorola has put in a 3800 milliamp hour battery into this. It's not quite the beefiest battery in a smartphone, but I would say compared to other clamshell foldables like the Flip 4, the battery life is average. So in our own custom battery benchmark test, it kind of edged out the Flip 4 by only an hour. It's an hour difference there. For my real world experience, I still find it average too, because I got at least a day out of it. By the end of the night, it was at 20%. So it's not really the longest lasting battery life, nor is it actually the shortest. So it gets the job done in my opinion. There is built-in wireless charging, which is a nice feature, of course, when you have a foldable. And on top of that, it has a 30-watt charging. So if you're in desperate need to recharge it quickly, you have that ability to quickly get it charged to a decent level. All right, so I didn't have high expectations for the Razr Plus when I first got it, but the more I got to use it, got to experience what it could do, especially the utility of those cameras paired with the external display, I did find it to be great for video, so self-shoots for YouTube video. So in that regard, if you're into content creation, I think it's great. It's priced at $999, which is exactly like its competitors, like the Flip 4. So it has an advantage that there are a lot of deals going on right now for it. But the thing that stands out here is that yes, it's still missing optical zoom. I'm not going to be nitpicking too much about that, but I know for some people who are used to paying $1,000, you're expected to have at least one optical zoom lens. It still kind of doesn't do well with low light photography, so if you're going to do a lot of that, then this might not be the phone for you. But besides that, it's a polished looking phone, great design. So if you guys want to learn more about the Motorola Razr Plus, you can check out our website, tomsguide.com. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook @TomsGuide, and I'll see you in my next video.